Hey friends, I am very excited to share with you my new pottery template today. This is going to be the storage jar, another template in my kitchen collection that I'm working on right now, and it's a place where you can store all of your goodies, not limited to the kitchen. So first thing you want to do, of course, is cut out all the templates, and then you do need to paste K19 together with some tape. So we're going to be rolling out two different slab thicknesses here. Firstly, I want to roll out a 1/2 centimeter slab. This is going to be the main body of the project. So you want to use this 1/2 centimeter slab for the templates K19, K21, and K9. And then I'll use these scraps to roll out a 1 centimeter slab. You want to make sure you wedge it if you're going to be using your scraps here. Now this piece wasn't quite big enough to fit both of the other templates, but theoretically you should do K22 and K20 on this 1 centimeter slab. So I just cut one out and then I used the scraps again to cut out the other piece. Once everything's cut out, I like to put everything in front of the fan for a little bit to firm up. If you've seen any other of my template tutorials, you know that I like to do this because then the pieces become a little bit more firm, they're easier to work with and less floppy. So I'm going to start with the body of the template. I like to cut my edges at a 45-degree angle, and I'm going to score both sides as well so I can attach these two sides together. You don't need to worry about your seam being perfect just now. The main idea is to get it stuck quite well, and we can always go back later, again, when the piece is leather hard, to clean it up. And don't forget the inside. Okay, now we're going to attach the base. So there's a lot of circles going on here. Just make sure you have the right piece. This is the 21 template. And you'll notice the base is a little bit bigger than the actual bottom of the jar. This is the same for all the bases of all my templates. I make them this way so that you can attach it first and then cut it later. So you want to score each side and make sure it's attached really well. And once it's attached, then you'll want to cut it to size and blend. Now, in case you had any extra scoring marks like I did on the inside here, you can use a paintbrush with some water to just smooth out those extra lines. Okay, now we're going to set that aside and we're going to work on the lid. So basically the lid is just two thickish pieces of clay stacked on top of each other. I wanted to make the lid 1 centimeter thick to kind of give it a little bit more weight. I really like when my lids are a bit beefy. So just mark where it's going to sit. Make sure it's nice and centered and mark where it's going to sit. And then what we're gonna do is score all of the parts where it's gonna be attached. So it's gonna be a lot of scoring here. And then now I want you to pay attention here because we want to be sure to not trap any air bubbles here. So can you see what I'm doing with my finger? I'm kind of going in a spiral from the center, pressing down, 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 trying to push out all of the air to the outside. So the middle is attached first and then out and out and out. That is the goal. So it sticks really well and doesn't trap any air. And then once again, if you need to clean up any edges, I usually do with a paintbrush and a little bit of water. Okay, now let's work on the handle. So that's this little piece right here, and I like to use a marker. I found this one marker works really well. It's about 1.5 centimeters in diameter, but whatever you can find that feels like the right height. It really helps to use something here to shape it nice and evenly. Now we're simply just going to attach it to the lid. The only tricky part here is you want to be very gentle with the handle. Make sure when you're sticking it down, you're not distorting it or anything. Score both sides and attach. I also added a little bit of water to the handle. This just depends on your clay if you need to add water or slip here. If the clay is nice and moist, you don't usually need to, but because this is the last part I was doing that day, the handle had dried out a little bit in the meantime. Ta-da! And I think the proportions on this jar are just so nice. I really like it with a thicker lid. So I'm going to let these guys firm up overnight under a bit of cloth until they're leather hard. This way I can come back in tomorrow and clean everything up. So tidying things up always takes the longest. I just tell people, just tidy up to the point that you're happy with it. Look for any little scriggly bits that might become sharp later on. Look for any, scratches. Sometimes you nick it with your fingernail. Anything that you don't like, this is your time when it's leather hard to tidy things up. Once they're looking good, you just set them to dry, and I usually let mine dry about a week. Okay, now we are loading up the bisque kiln. And I'm dipping them in some white glaze. Now don't forget to wipe your bottoms. We're not going to fire these glazed pieces together, so you want to wipe the bottoms of the jar and the bottoms of the lid so they don't stick to your kiln shelves. Okay, and here's how they turned out. So as you can see, I made 2 different sizes of jar. I don't know if you know this about my templates, but they work at pretty much any size. You can infinitely size them up or down to make whatever size piece you want. So the largest jar is the standard, that's the 100%. And then I did the other 2 jars at 80% and 90% scale. So this is something that you can just change in your printer settings. I think these jars look just so cute. I love the way that the food pops against the white. but I think they would also look so lovely in some bright colors as well. I'm so excited to see what you guys make with these templates, so make sure you tag me on Instagram at Pottery to the People so I can see your projects. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know if you have any questions down below. The template is also available down below, so go check it out, and I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Bye, friends.